curious, as a mom, what have you found is helpful as a working parent?
Um, the crux of it is that it is not about amount, it is about quality, with respect to time. And so what it comes down to, and I have examples in the book that there are moments, and I mean, it's beyond moments, like we spend hours within our week that are there's so much potential connection and happiness, and it's to the extent that we focus on them, pay attention to them, such that we're feeling the happiness from it. So I share a story in my book about walking my son to his preschool when we moved from Philly, to LA, and it was like glorious. I mean, this is what we've been working for. I wanted to live in sunshine. I We got a house right next to UCLA's beautiful campus. My son was in preschool on campus, and we had this like amazingness of I got to walk with my happy little 3-year-old to his school every day. And there were many moments that I wasn't even paying attention to. Initially, I was like, this is glorious. Every day I walk to school. And then there was this, like, I remember it so vividly just because it is so on the nose terrible. There's one of these mornings where we were walking and I was, like in my head rushing, like, oh my God, I need to drop you off so I can get to my meeting. And, like that sort of spinning that happens in our heads. And he was like a few steps behind me, skipping along as happy as can be. And he stops and I hear him, he's like, Mom, stop, like, hold on. And I'm like, we don't have time to stop. And I turn around and he is like smelling roses. And I was like, not even thinking, I was like, we don't have time to stop and smell the roses. Like those words came out of my mouth. And when I heard them come out of my mouth, I'm like, what the heck? I'm like a time and happiness researcher. Like, how can I, of all people, be the one to yell at my happy little son that we don't have time to stop and smell the roses? Um, but what that sort of highlights is that we do have these wonderful moments in our day, and while we adapt to them. So there's this term called hedonic adaptation, and it's a tendency that we are all prone to. That is, when we are exposed to repeated experiences again and again, they stop to have as much of an emotional impact. So this is good because when bad stuff happens, we can adapt to it. It makes us resilient. But it's bad because when these wonderful moments happen, like walking my son to school in like glorious land, um, you stop noticing, like it stops having that same effect. And so to the extent that, and there are ways, and I share some strategies in the book, that we continue to pay attention to those wonderful moments in our life. Those simple experiences of happiness very often involve the people that we love, our kids, our friends, our partner. Um, but if we're not paying attention to them, if we're on our phone or in our heads cycling through while we're spending that time, then it's a missed opportunity. It's like missed out on happiness. And so um, I am very deliberate in carving out, protecting, both meant like, actually time wise as well as mentally, protecting the time and relishing the time that I have with my kids, like one on one. We have dates, like my daughter and I share this, have a weekly coffee date, which we have turned what was a routine into a ritual. And from that, we've made something that's potentially really ordinary and not, you know, getting any of our attention. It has become really special. And so not only during the time that we're spending is it a source of happiness, but with that ritual, we can anticipate it and we can remember it. And so those minutes have a tremendous impact on one's relationship with their kids, my relationship with my kids, and my experience over the course of the entire week, even if that coffee date is only 30 minutes each week.